My man.
Tim, what's happening, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yourself?
Yeah, this has been like a years in the making, I think, for you and I to actually get out here and do this thing
That's right,
together.
man. I mean, two bald-looking guys with glasses. Yeah, it's the combination everybody was waiting for.
Yeah, I might be a little bit shorter, you're a little bit taller.
And by the
it
way,
works
so
out.
big shoes to fill, man. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I hear you. No, it's always a tall ask, right?
All right.
But we'll see if I can at least
I think you'll do well, man. I think you'll do well.
Let's see if I can at least attempt it. But it's always good to see it, right?
Same here, man. Same here. By the way, tell them about the fact that you're going to Munich for your birthday to see Metallica.
I am going to Munich in less than a month. Bringing the whole family. There's 5 of us, and we're going to see Metallica for. They're playing on my birthday in Munich, and then they're actually playing 2 shows that weekend. No repeat songs.
Yeah.
So it should be an interesting.
So for 2 days they don't repeat the songs.
Right.
In both.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it should be a pretty decent show, man. It's been 2 years in the making.
So are you a full-blown Metallica fan?
I am. I'm a big Metallica fan.
All right. Out of curiosity, what's your favorite rock band? Put it in the chat. Why not? I don't know if I have. I think Judas Priest is mine.
Huh? Not a bad band.
Yeah, it was my first exposure. The Green Man Alicia was my first exposure to full heavy metal rock.
Not a bad band to back, man.
No, it's a good band.
I actually grew up on Judas Priest, and then I met. Then I gravitated towards GNR and Metallica, and the rest is history.
I actually listened to disco, and then I was told I couldn't listen to disco anymore. That's how old I am.
It's still not bad. I'm an 80s child, man, so I got such a wide variety of music that I listen to. Regardless, we're going to see the boys in Munich in a month.
Love it. Jason says AC/DC. Like. Ray says Rush. Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Charles says Tool. Pink Floyd. Jeffrey Steele says the Beach Boys.
That's my sales director.
I mean, by the way, are the Beach Boys really a rock band? Can we really say that?
No, even with Stamos on the drum, John Stamos on the drums doesn't make them any better, but that's Jeff for you.
That's a lot of detail.
He's just trying to be fun.
All right, man. By the way, we got some cool people out there. I see Steve Hudson. What's happening? Scott Lyman, man. I see you, man. BMT. I don't know what that stands for. Let me see. Who else we got out there? Jamie Rivera. What's happening? Keep that camera still, man. I try to focus on you.
Look at Ray Doomrats. He's so serious.
Ray's always cool.
Very serious.
Steve Utter looks like he's serious about stuff.
Who else we got out there?
I don't know. We got a lot of people out there. I got Darius Williams. Sounds like a football player.
He does.
95.
I bet you he played football at some point, right?
Huh?
There's Sean Archuleta.
Darius played. I see. Is that Angel Berra? Is that Angel? What's happening?
There's Double B. There's Brian
Focus,
Bergeron.
Angel. Focus, Angel. Look, she refuses to look at the camera like I'm not paying attention no matter what.
I am not.
Catherine Camariado.
And Leaf. Look at
KC in the Sunshine
Is his name
Bag?
Leaf or Leaf? Leaf?
I don't know how you say it, man.
Because Leaf Garrett, remember him from the 70s? He's like,
why would you think I would know who Leaf Garrett is?
Because you said you listened to disco. Didn't he used to try to sing?
He did try to sing, man. Dude, and my boy's out there with the glasses again. He knows who he is. Roy El Gato Elagato.
There he is.
So, man.
All good. Hey, you know what? Let's jump into this thing. Because you know what? I purposely saw Ray Doomeresk and I see Brian Bergeron out there. So, last month we had the the March Madness thing, right?
Yeah, that's right, the contest.
I'd read in the brackets and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And on the men's side of it, right, UConn, because I think that was like the long shot, only 7 people out of the entire folks that decided to jump in picked UConn to win.
Okay.
So, and out of those 7, who's our winner?
Who?
Ray Doomeresk from New England. So Ray's the winner.
Congratulations, $500 just for you.
300.
Oh, it's 300.
Let's not up it.
Okay.
Nice try.
Yeah,
all right. You get the new guy in here.
I try to get you some money, man.
Get the new guy in here. He's trying to up that.
I thought it was 5.
I'll get brownie points for that.
I'll call Ed on that. Ed, I thought it was 5.
He's going to say thank God for shutting you down.
Yeah.
But let's talk on the women's side. South Carolina, right? South Carolina won. There was a few more winners on that one. 57 picked South Carolina.
Wow.
And out of the 57, Double B, Brian Bergeron from the West Coast is
BB
the other
on the West
RSM.
Coast.
So congratulate Brian and Ray on picking the winners. And that money will be coming your way.
Soon?
Yeah, I would think, because that's pretty good with getting that out to you. So
you know what blew me away? And I'm being genuine here. What blew me away, who's the lady that just got drafted by Indiana? She's the lady that scored like 42.
Caitlin Clark.
Okay. Did you see her contract?
That's ridiculous.
It was like
$76,000 she's getting next year.
For 4 years. Mm-hmm. At first I thought, man, that's a little bit amount of money for 1 year. Then I realized for 4 years.
And you compare it to the guys that got drafted last year, $10 million. $10 million.
I didn't realize it was so low.
Yeah, it's
the
crazy.
WNBA.
And it's crazy. And you know what? On the way in this morning when we were coming in, we did the earlier broadcast. I heard that she's about to sign an 8-figure deal with Nike.
Okay. I don't feel bad for her. Moving on.
Taking care of
All right.
Yep.
All right. She's taken care of.
Yeah,
Very cool.
she's going. So I
love it.
We'll see. And I'm a big proponent of these ladies making some money because they work their tails off just like guys do.
They do.
So.
And by the way, there is a lady here giving me a hard time. Catherine Canariato. Always butcher my last name. I'm sorry. I do my best. I do my best.
Is she a paisan too? Is that Italian?
I think so, man. I think so. I'm just going to call her Cece from now on. That's it, just to keep it simple with her.
Hey, that's my older daughter. That's what we call her, Cece. Yeah, it's
cool,
easier.
Man. Very cool.
Yeah, because we kind of labeled our kids to really Italian names, but we'll leave that for another time. Let's jump into some numbers, right? Let's talk about March. Let's talk about the results in March, right? So, residential PC sales. We'll start out with the OC3, which is the department that I'm kind of seeing right now, up 7%. Right?
Nice.
Over plan for March. Year to date, up 10%. So Jeff's got his team pumping on all cylinders out there doing their thing, man. He's knocking it out of the park. The field, we kind of stumbled a little bit. We are down 3% to sales plan in March, and down 2% year to date. So again, here we are mid-April. Things are starting to hum. I think after this broadcast, you'll realize that we'll start to make up some ground with some of those numbers. But overall, we're up 4%.
Okay.
In March, right, overall. And year to date, we're up 6%.
Nice.
So it's, in the Res PC side. So
I'm sure management's going, not double digits, but we're good.
It makes Pat put a little bit of a smile, right?
Okay.
He's kind of got like that half smile right now. We want teeth, though, right? We want to see him smiling. Mosquito, total mosquito year to date. Here's a story to be told there. 17 million. We're up 17 million bucks. It's up 25% over last year.
Nice.
So just good stuff, right? And mosquito, in my mind, and Jeff's out there in the audience, I know that it's such low-hanging fruit and such a easy add-on sale to any type of lead that comes your way to the field for our pros out there. So really kind of trying to make a dent in that. Termite. Let's talk about termite sales. These are we got some work to do here at Victor. Our traditional termite sales, the trenching and treating and the liquid we're pumping into the ground, all that, we're down 3% in March. Year to date, we're up 3%. So, we're kind of like in the middle there, but we need to kind of drive that one up. And we're just about to hit the swarm season, so that'll start to grow. Our bait sales, we're struggling there. We certainly are struggling there. We were down 2% in March, and we're down 3% year to date. So we know that we've got to up those numbers. Ancillary sales continue to be the ones that carry the termite sales. Up 17% in March. Nice. Overall, we're up 22% year to date. So
nice numbers.
Knocking out the park. Overall, total sales, we're up 7% in March, up 11% for year to date.
Not bad.
Not bad. And seeing at the end of March 31st was obviously the end of first quarter, and we're on profit plan through Q1.
There you go.
So it's making Pat and the DP smile a little bit. No, but it's always better if we can just get some cushion, right?
I gotcha.
So that's what we're looking for. And like I said, April's here, and we're ready to get hit. Getting these numbers up is what I'll say. But saying that, March results while we're on them, let's talk about the folks that rang the bell in the 100K Club. Yeah. Right? We had 35 people hit the 100K in March. So Stormy, when you're ready, let's roll that video and show the gang who we got. do you think about that, huh?
Man, Marco Lopez.
Yeah.
You know, I give the West Coast a hard time.
I know you do.
I'm not going to say anything.
I know.
Can't say anything. Killed it with that number.
Got it.
Almost 300,000.
Chairman of the Chair Club. Right?
Nicely
President's
done.
Club, dude.
Nicely
Yeah, fantastic job. Who else we got out there? We got a couple newbies that we got out there. We have Michael Vincent from Tennessee, Craig Barrett from Mid-South.
Wait a minute, I can't skip over my man.
Who you
Tyler
got?
Jones. I just like saying Tyler Jones.
Yeah, Tyler's he's always consistently
man.
up there,
Great
right? Doing
numbers.
this thing. Stanton Todd, Mid-South. Justin Eves from Ohio. We had 4 people from Ohio hit this list. We had 3 people from Permatreat, 3 folks from North Texas. Justin Eves, though, is a guy that just barely missed it last month, man. 99th thou, and he finally he rang the bell. He's in the club now.
Let me see. Darius Williams says, woohoo, John Handa. John Handa likes Quiet Riot, by the way.
Yeah, that worked.
What was their famous song? What was Quiet Riot's big song?
Well, they remade "Come On, Feel the Noise."
Oh, that's what it was? I thought so.
And they did "Mental Health" or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
mental health is what we need, right?
Rock metalheads.
It's mental health, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you know,
good numbers.
2 folks from the North Texas, Jamira Robinson and Jason Bushy, they got this partner thing going on where they kind of team up and do these sales together.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's working, right? They're both in the 100K club, but
Holy fuck, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
What they do exactly.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like
don't
to
know
find out what they do exactly.
They're out there doing their thing, and then then you get the folks, you know, a part of my team, the OC3 folks. Teresa Mobley leading the pack,
Teresa's
right?
always up there, though.
Yeah,
she's always killing it.
She kills it, you know. And she sent me a text on Monday, and Monday or Tuesday. She just sold her first mill. We're at what, April 19th, whatever the date is. She just got over the $1 million mark already, year to date.
Wow.
Yeah,
compared to last year, where was she at last year?
Last year, I think she sold a little over $4 million.
Okay.
Right, so she's on par.
She's got
it. On track.
She's
yeah, we're running and gunning, man. It's happening. I mean, the phones are buzzing. Things are going on. You know, you see the numbers that the team's pumping out. So Jeff's got everybody rolling in the right direction on that.
What do you attribute the volume that you're getting to? Is it just, you know, it's the season?
It is.
Marketing is great.
It's a little bit of both, right? And I'd be
by the way, that was a smart answer.
I would be remiss to say that, you know, we have really worked hard with marketing to partner up and kind of. You know, Cam, the VP of marketing, we work really well together, and we got some good relationships. So we know when they're spinning the dials that we're staffing to it, making sure we're good to go and get that stuff.
Can you talk a little? And this is kind of, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but like marketing, you know, talk to me a little bit about how you guys work with marketing, how that really plays into the volume.
So, I mean, they got some targeted campaigns, right? We're right in the middle of Bug Week, so if anyone, if you haven't checked out any of the social media stuff in Bug Week, please check it out. It's actually some pretty funny stuff. Cam's and his team has done a really good job of promoting that. I'm not a social media guy, but my wife was like, these commercials are hilarious, right? She does Facebook, so they're on there. But you know, they kind of got, you know, the magic money, and they kind of throw it at different things, whether it's digital ads, whether it's Google stuff. You know, they got a combination of things that really get us out there, that help folks drive to either to the website, to the phones, that help the phones ring at the OCCC. So it's you know, good partnership.
Nice. Who's the VP of marketing?
Cam Glover.
Cam Glover.
Yeah. But you know, he does a good job, and him and I are shoulder to shoulder on a lot of things.
Nice.
And even my sales director, Jeff's out in the audience. You know, we work well with the folks, and kind of watch their spend, and then we staff accordingly. But it really goes hand in hand, because when they kind of drop the spend some of that, you'll see things kind of dry up a little, right?
Interesting.
The biggest thing I always tell Kim is don't spend it all now. I said make sure we got enough for 12 months, right? We got to feed the field. I mean, that's my idea. Is like, look, we're here, but we got to make sure the field gets fed and their budgets are doing well. But you know, let's talk about the leads, right? We're at that time of the year. We're at that time of the year where things are getting warm. It's starting to heat up. Like down here in Atlanta, we're 10 degrees over what typically the temperature is. And I think it's gonna be 86 today. And it's been like that for the past, you know, like week and a half. And we can see that because at the OCCC, we see that the 11 days, in the last 11 days, we've had 9 out of those 11 days where we've sold over $1 million. And I'm talking like over $1 million. Like Monday, we sold almost 2 million. I think we were 1.8 and a half. And we haven't seen a $2 million day in April ever. And the earliest we've ever seen $2 million day is like the end of May. Nice. So it's happening. But what that means is, the bugs are starting to come out. They're figuring it all out.
Man, I'm feeling it here in Georgia. It seems like is it me, or is it coming just a little earlier this year?
It's weird because March, right? I mean, March was a little weird, a little wet, you know, that type of thing. And And again, I think it was a lot of the country really didn't have that bad of a winter.
Right.
So usually when you get like a wet winter, it's going to be a heavy pest season because things never really went away. But what happens is biology kicks in and they reproduce. Okay. So they come out tenfold.
All right, let's keep it G-rated.
Everything.
Let's keep it G-rated.
Right. I said they reproduce. Anyways, they come out tenfold, and that's great for us, right? Yeah. That's why the industry and Orkin, I mean, we're consistently, hitting new records and everything else, and it's because we're getting good.
But here in Georgia, it seems, I don't know, is it just me or is it hotter this year?
Seems warmer. Warmer earlier. Definitely seems warmer earlier.
Okay.
But what I want to shed some light on is let's talk about a little bit of these leads, right? These TC leads. I want to paint a little picture for everybody that's out there that we look at these leads and these sales that come through my shop as very fragile types of I guess opportunities, right? We get a customer that calls us that they're in panic mode, right? Because of the cockroach they saw over there, because of the mouse they saw running over here, because the swarm's happening, whatever it might be. I mean, there's bees out. I mean, there's a lot of things out there. But when swarms happen, we know that, I don't know if you've ever seen a swarm, Victor, but when termites swarm, it's crazy. It's like the apocalypse is happening, right? You get out of this little pinhole in a windowsill or whatever it is, and they're running and gunning towards the windows. And we're talking hundreds, thousands of them, right? So we get customers that are calling us we've got customers that are crying. We got customers that are screaming. We got customers that just the world's ending type of thing.
Right.
My team, the agent's got about 7 to 10 minutes to try to calm that customer down.
Right.
And let them know that, hey, you called the right people. We got you taken care of. Orkin's got it. We've been doing this for 120 years plus. Yeah. We got it. Right? So then we get in there and we go in and let me get somebody out there, right? Because we're not, the agents in the OCCC are certainly not the experts, right? The experts are all the folks that are in this audience right now. They're the ones that are going to get out there and assess everything and say, yeah, this is what we got going on and this is how we're going to solve your issues. And I say that because this is the time of year we get a bunch of those leads. Like this month alone, we'll probably get about almost 15,000 termite inquiries, termite leads that will come our way that we'll be able to process, right? We schedule for the inspectors out there so they can get out there and, help those customers out, increase the customer base. One of Pat's initiatives this year is to grow our termite base to 400,000 customers, right? We were there once. We've done a pretty decent job of kind of going backwards here over the last 3 years where we've got some room to get back to that 400,000. But it's months like this, it's months like May, June, and what's about to come where we really got to take advantage of it. But the fragility of those leads is what's important. And I say that because, about a year ago, there was the field was asked to put their sales inspectors and their account managers on the commercial side into the RFS, which is the routing and scheduling system, so that we have transparency into their schedules. So my team actually, as long as their schedules are updated in the system, and we see their availability, we're able to plug those holes as we get those calls that come in. Right? So we can sit there and fill up their days and all that other good stuff. Again, no, we've only introduced that customer to Orkin. We haven't been able to solve any type of issue. All we can do is try to set that sales inspector up for success to get out there and really, that's where that deal starts to get closed. So the important, what I'll say is, we're the handoff. We get there, we got the customer, we got you, calm down. We're going to get the real person out there to get you what looks good for you. Next availability that inspector has is tomorrow from 2 to 4. Right? And there's the handoff right there. So my thing is what happens when that hits the field? We got to start building that relationship, right? We got to start the triage, right? Build the triage. Pick up the phone, call that customer, because remember, these customers are in panic mode. It's an emotional right time. We may be used to it because we've been here for a long time. When we're used to seeing swarms, we're used to dealing with the bugs and the rodents and all that stuff. These folks aren't. That's why they call us, right? So we can get out there. So we hand that off. Inspector calls, hey, Mr. Antonio, I just got your information. I see that you're on my schedule for 2 to 4 May. Let me ask you, what exactly is happening? What's going on? What are you seeing? Right? Start to build that triage. Start to build that relationship. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Does Orkin, and this is a genuine question, I think I've asked this before. I think the answer is no. Do we have a metric or at least a KPI that we shoot for to say, let's call them within this amount of time?
So, again,
am I putting you on the spot here?
As long as I don't think there's anything out there, right?
Okay.
I would say that probably differs amongst regions, branches, whatever it is that the branch manager, region manager.
But there is no target set corporate. Like, hey, we like to have calls returned within.
Look, every time I had a lead when I was a salesperson, man, I picked that thing up. I picked up the phone to call them and let them know that I got you. Because what happens if you don't call them? What happens? They're going to call the next person, right? If the only availability that inspector had was tomorrow at 2 to 4, and they're calling me today, and they're in that panic mode, and they're screaming or they're crying or whatever, I'm picking up. I'm going to let them know I'm here. I got you, right? And
dude, if it was me, I'm just saying my perspective. I'm calling 3 companies, and the person gives me the earlier schedule, or at least calls me first, will get my business.
To speed the lead, right?
That's it, speed the lead. That's exactly it, yeah.
But you call them up and you say, hey, tell me exactly what's happening, what's going on. We're here, I'm here to help you.
Right.
And depending upon that urgency, right? I mean, you start to feel that out on the call, but maybe you had a cancellation on that day. Maybe you had something that moved off your schedule that you can go and squeeze them in because you know that, it's there. And that's another good way. I always used to tell, I was an RSM in a commercial environment a few years back, and I used to tell the account managers all the time, when you get those leads, value your time. Your time is just as important as everybody else's. But when you're making that contact with that customer, when I get out there later on today, when I get out there tomorrow, both of you folks are going to be around so that we can go through the inspection and go over the findings, what we're going to find. So you start to build that triage, right? And that's where when you hit them up and a lot of folks will be like, oh, well, I text them, right? Well, you know what? That personal touch with the call,
right?
I think, and then say, you know what? When I'm on my way out there, I'll shoot you a text and let you know when I'm on my way.
Right.
That type of thing. You start to build that triage a little bit because that's where that fragile lead really starts to take form. Is when you make contact with that customer and you continue that conversation of, hey, you called the right folks. We're out here. We're going to do this, man, and we got you covered.
Can I ask you a question? Because again, generational, folks like to look at things differently. Do you see more of the younger generation as opposed to baby boomers? So we're now talking millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y. Are they okay with texting first and then calling? Or what do you see from your perspective?
Well, it's funny you say that. Well, baby boomers, they just learn to live with it. But like the newer generation, what we've seen.
Because I call my daughter up. And she doesn't answer the phone, and then like 30 seconds later, if that, she texts me like, what do you want? And I'm like, yeah, I want you to pick up the phone. That's what I want you to do.
Yes. I mean, my father-in-law is a baby boomer, right? And what he'll do is if he sees a bug, he'll live with it, but he'll call me and say, what should I do?
Right.
So they rely on the kids now and do all that stuff.
That's funny.
But you say that.
Baby boomers like, I've lived through this before. I've seen these roaches before. Not a big deal. I love it.
But it's funny that we say that you ask that because that is something that we're starting to see. And this ever since the pandemic, what we're seeing is that if we can't get that lead scheduled for that inspector, if their schedule isn't up in RFS, that lead, that ability to contact that customer drops probably about a good 40 to 50%.
Really?
Odds are that you're going to get that. If we got to send that thing over as a branch's schedule,
and
that takes a hot minute to get over, like you said, you're calling 3 companies,
Right.
And that takes a hot second for that lead to get over to that inspector because we couldn't find availability in there or whatever the reason was, and it's a branch's schedule, the odds of that customer picking up the phone, saying, and saying, yeah, hello, yeah, it's the Orkin guy, or and waiting till tomorrow at 2 o'clock just to show up. The odds of them saying that they don't have another company start to dwindle because what we're seeing is that people don't want to answer the phone anymore, and their communication preferences are through a text or through an email, whatever it might be. But when I say make sure your schedules are set up, because if you're not only are you going to miss the leads that aren't my team schedules, but think about the customers that don't want to talk to anybody. Those ones that come through Orkin.com, the ones that are web leads, the ones that come through e-com. Think about those customers. They haven't spoken to anybody. At least we get a chance to calm them down.
Right.
These folks that go through these other channels where they don't speak to anyone, and they're scheduling it for tomorrow at 2 to 4, when you might have availability today and we're not calling them.
Yep.
I mean, that's the odds of those kind of coming to life or coming to fruition kind of start to dwindle because again,
so you don't get away from the personal touch, which is the call. You know what I mean? I still go for the call. You mentioned something before we began the broadcast about the number of leads that come in over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then you're flooded.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I thought that was fascinating. I didn't realize you got that many leads.
Yeah, so Mondays and Tuesdays in my world, my current world, are crazy. They're completely crazy because that build up over the weekend everything comes, and I think for a lot of the branch managers and the region folks and the sales folks, they'll tell you that Mondays and Tuesdays, and it kind of tapers off as the week goes on, but Monday's running and gunning inside these branches. We kind of load these branches up, and we're easy to blame for a lot of things for the busyness that happens on a Monday or Tuesday. But on top of that, there's also an opportunity for the sales inspectors to realize that there's a handful of leads that probably came in over the weekend that, and I'm not talking termite leads, right? Yeah. Those we try to get scheduled 7 days a week. Right, so as long as that availability is there for Monday for those inspectors, we can load up their schedules. But say you don't have a lot going on Monday and Tuesday. There's a lot of pest control leads that came in over the weekend that either came in through the website, came in through e-com, that my team may or may not have touched that might be sitting in BOSS. So you might want to go into BOSS or ask your branch manager to pull some of those leads out, see if there's another avenue for you to be able to work those. And on top of that, when you get these leads scheduled on there, make sure that you're tacking on. You're talking to them about pest control. You're tacking on to mosquito, right? We talked about those numbers up front. There's opportunity within those leads. You see the ancillary, right? We're really good with the attic stuff, right? We're really good with the remediations and selling some exclusion and maybe some gutter stuff. But, getting back to the nitty gritty, what we're here for, right? Oregon built themselves off of what? Pest control, termite, right? We got our residential stuff, and we got to get back to our mosquito program's the best thing on the planet in my world. I mean, I got mosquito at home, and it's great. My girls, all my kids are in sports, and we were talking about that earlier. My one daughter's a pitcher of softball, and she's out there religiously every afternoon throwing the ball, throwing 100 balls a day, getting her thing down. She's not getting bit by mosquitoes. I look over, my neighbors are doing this. They're swatting themselves and doing everything else. So the mosquito program's great, and it's a great tack on. But again, I say with these TC leads, it's an emotional sale. It's an emotional lead, right? When it comes through to us, and we hand that off to the field. So the speed of the lead, I think most of the group out there probably, is used to that. But waiting and not making contact with that customer until the time of that schedule, going to be tough because, like you said, most consumers out there are looking for others, and some folks may not want to answer the phone. But you got to do your best to try to get that going.
Yeah. You probably answered this question already, but this will probably get you in trouble, so I'm going to do my best. What's one of the common misconceptions about the call center that most people perceive that you go, they keep getting this wrong? These people out here just keep getting it wrong about the call center. I'm throwing you right into the lion's den.
We're easy to blame. We're the easy one to blame, and I say this all the time when I get into conversations with branch managers, and I'm like, look you guys are the branches, the field's in control of their schedules. We don't try to schedule anything outside of whatever the availability is. So, and I think the misconception, it's like we don't run the branches, we don't run the regions. What we try to do is serve things up to help them build their customer base, opportunities to expand, and do it, and
all right, let me phrase this question different. Let me phrase the question differently. When you're having a conversation with one of these guys or gals, and you're sitting there having a drink, and they go, you know what? I wish the call center would do this, and you're like, and try to explain I guess that's what I'm trying to get from you.
Yeah, my folks follow what we call a rate card, right? In each branch, there's a lot of things out there where they have specific things that you can and can't do for the branches, right? Right. And sometimes those can get a little cumbersome because remember. We got about 7 to 10 minutes to try to convince that customer that they've made the right decision by calling Orkin Land. So some of those guidelines within the rate cards could get really overwhelming, right? And sometimes contradictory. So I always tell the branch managers, get a copy of your rate card, review it, make sure it makes sense because we only sell according to whatever that rate card states, right? If we don't pick and choose and say, you know what, this is a nice guy, I think I'm going to give him $100 off. We can't do that, right? Everything's dictated by the system that we have, but ultimately, it's driven by the rate cards that are specific to the branch location. So there's no wiggle room there. There's no, you know what, I'm going to pull this one out and come up with some service. Somewhere on that rate card, there is a way that allows us to either sell something or schedule something according to whatever those guidelines are. And I think that that's a misconception. A lot of folks just think we make things up and pull them out of the air.
Right.
And that's where, and you're only as good as your last screw up. That's the other piece too. Yeah, I get that a lot, right? I mean, let's not worry about the 50 or 60 that we did right. It's that one, which is fine because that's how we get better. Yeah. Right. So, and I'm very open to that. The importance that I always talk about is, is this audience for these sales inspectors is when they get that lead, that's that golden nugget, right? Because there's an Easter egg there that's waiting to get served up. That what does that lead to? And in this day and age where there's a lot of competitors out there and trying to get the things, that take advantage of and triage that lead.
I'm going to ask the audience here, like, what's one question you would like to ask Tim now that we got him here in the studio? Put it in the chat. What's one question you've been wanting to ask Tim?
Can't imagine.
Now would be the time to do it. I'm dying to find out if there's anything out there we missed. Yeah, be nice.
No, that's all right.
Let's see if there's anything coming in.
4 years I haven't been gentle.
Daniel says, can you explain the difference between B1, B2, B3, B5 lost leads? And do it in about a couple of minutes, if that.
No.
At most. Huh?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, the answer's
no.
no.
But I will get an answer for him.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions you've been wanting to ask? This will be it. Got a couple more minutes before we close this out.
I will certainly get an answer for that because I'm not quite sure what B1, B2, B3 is.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It almost seems like it's a rated lead.
Yeah.
Like a scorecard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think it's empty, man.
All right. Well, a couple housekeeping things, right? President's Club reports, they came out, they're posted. Ed will get those out to everybody sometime tonight. I think he said this evening he's going to push those out to everyone to see where you're at. You know, we're halfway through April. Well, we got a little less than 8 months to sit there and ring the bell to get to next year's President's Club. So keep on doing your thing and beefing up that. Like I said, we got some room to build on those termite sales and or the traditional and the TC bait. Also, we got some room to grow in the creative residential pest control. So we got 8 months to make a difference there. As always, make sure you're being safe with everything that you do. Whether you're driving to that customer's house to triage that lead, right? Like I think that lead in, right? You got to be safe getting there. But even when you're there doing your inspections, if you're getting up in that attic, make sure you got the right equipment. Make sure that you're protected. If you're getting underneath the house and you got to go do a crawl, make sure you're not bumping your head into a nail and you're cutting yourself open. So just be aware of your surroundings and have the awareness. And then last but not least, man, phones are ringing. It's buzzing. It's humming. We are going, man. It's here. And we're seeing it. It's only going to continue to get busier. So that's where we're at, folks. Cool. Appreciate what everyone does out there. And of course, if you have any questions.
I had to wear the hat. You know, I had to throw the hat. By the way, look, we can close it out. Skylar has a very nice comment here. Thank you for all you do.
I think that was probably towards you, but I'll take it. I'll ride his coattails with that. I do appreciate that. And I promise, Daniel, I will get an answer for you and give you some clarification. But till then, man, it's been a pleasure, man. It really has been a pleasure. It's always good to see you and spend time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe out there. Have a great rest of the month, man. Let's get it done.